What's going on, everyone? We are back again today with a little bit of a different spin on Anakin with Anakin Blue. So this is very much a Force dedicated deck. We're really trying to leverage a couple of the new Force units in the later stages, as well as our leader just being a gigantic Force unit himself, and to leverage that into the late game, get some value, and finish out the game with Anakin just being this massive, massive beater in the mid to late stages of the game. Before we get started on showcasing and talking about a couple of the ideas behind the deck, big thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. A lot of the games here, not necessarily today, but in general, are due to us being able to play and talk on the Discord. So that's really, really fun. Also, I have a TCG player link in the description down below. Be sure to use it for all your Star Wars limited card needs. But let's talk about Anakin Blue and the reason I decided to go down this route. So I've been having a ton of fun with Anakin. There's so many different ways you can go. You can go the double red version. You can go Anakin green, and you can run Anakin and ramp into him a little bit, and he's a really, really nice payoff. You can go Anakin yellow and play the now there are two of them, or you can go Anakin blue. And initially I was like, okay, maybe I go the restoring route to kind of negate his downside and use units like, well, Yoda, for example, who's a 3 resource 2/4, which is a very poor stat line. But now I get a 3 resource 4/4 with Anakin's action, and I don't actually have to take any damage. And when he dies, I'll go ahead and get that when defeated trigger, and I can play 4 synergy of cards, right? Yeah, I went that route. But then I was like, okay, well, let's push that even further with specifically Yoda. Instead of just going with things like, you know, Moisture Farmer or random blue cards that are going to restore and give me the late game and like takedowns and fell the dragons and play like a soft control deck, let's just go all in on the play our small units, play the Force units, and get value out of them. So that's what we're doing today. So what are we getting from set 3 in this deck that kind of, well, works well with Anakin? Well, we get Anakin's Interceptor, which is really, really nice, right? We get, which is nice, just 2/3 unit that becomes a 4/3 very, very frequently and does actually attack into like A-Wings very profitably with Anakin's ability. We've got ourselves Batch Brothers, which works really well with Anakin's ability. 2 units separately. Some of the times they can trade with 2 resource plays or even some other random plays that our opponents are making, but then we can pump them up with Anakin's action, which is really nice. And we get Ki-Adi-Mundi. This is a really nice addition. He's a 5/7 body, really, really tanky. And that means that our Force unit is very likely to be there on turn 5 when Anakin comes down. So not only do we have Ki-Adi, but we also have Anakin. So we have 2 separate Force units. So it's very likely we can get our Force synergies to work. And so we have things like Force Throw. We've got It Binds All Things, which is pretty sweet. Definitely a really nice card when you're comboing it with Yodas and Kanans and things like that. It ends up being a removal plus a heal effect. Very frequently good in this deck, especially with Overwhelm on Anakin. We've got ourselves the Jedi Lightsaber. The Force is with me. Jedi Lightsaber is really good in general. Just an upgrade. +3/+3 is a lot of stats. So if you use it at the right time, it can be really impactful. But you have to be careful about it because waylays exist and No Good to Be Dead exists and things like that. The Force is with me is actually my favorite card for the Force synergy deck besides Force Throw. It just comes in, go ahead and get 2 experiences, shield token, and it really can change the entire game if you get it on like a Yoda early or a Kanan or something like that, or just put it on Anakin and suddenly your Anakin is a 6/9 base, oftentimes like a 9/9, and didn't take any damage because it has shield token on it. It also has Overwhelm, which is crazy, right? I also have added a couple like support pieces like Concord Dawn Interceptors and Village Protectors to kind of give us Sentinel and get us to the Anakin point because we can't just stall and do nothing the whole game. I also just really like Village Protectors in Anakin because the 2/2 body becomes a 4/2 on attacks and it has shielded, right? Really, really nice. And your opponents are forced to attack it, which is pretty sweet. And outside of that, I mean, of course, we got Obi-Wan's for the Anakin flip turn. We got Luke's for after that. We have a lot of things going on, and let's hope that we can go ahead and do some really sweet things with the Force synergy deck and smack people for like 9 or 10 damage with Anakin himself every single turn. Thanks for jumping into the video today. Let's dive into some games. All right, into our first game here with Anakin Blue. I tend to record these in a row. I'm testing out a bunch of different decks at the same time, and now we're off to Anakin Blue. Let's see what we got here. Looks like it's Bosk Yellow. Not exactly sure what to expect, but I think this looks like a reasonable hand. I'm going to keep the Queel just because I like the potential to draw some cards in this matchup. I have a feeling that my opponent's going to be a little bit more... I mean, I don't know really, but my thought is maybe they're going to be a little bit more bounty heavy and a little bit more value oriented with Bosk, but again, have no clue realistically. Let's just drop in the Queel. Queel's super nice with Anakin. Gonna be able to go ahead and, well, get in some value. Let's go ahead and grab initiative here. Draw some cards. That's gonna be interceptors that we can go ahead and resource. And you know what? I will just go ahead and 1, 2. Actually, if I don't attack, yeah, let's just attack. Oh, and we got ourselves a Village Protectors. Cool. So we drew a card off that one. Nothing too crazy. No force payoffs yet. We're going to go force unit into force unit here, which is going to be pretty massive. Let's go Village Protectors, shield token. Let's see what my opponent's got, right? They could put a bounty. Nope, they got nothing. All right. Let's draw some cards. Wow, lots and lots of duplicate units, huh? Very, very expensive hand overall. We have a pretty cheap early game, to be honest. We have a lot of 2 and 3 cost cards, and we've just done all units, right? All units. Yeah, all units here. But we're gonna get some events eventually. Top target. Sure. Let's go ahead and trade. Top target basically doing nothing, only used as a way to deal 1 damage to something, which is pretty weak. So that's kind of nice. Let's go ahead and draw some cards. And oop, there's another Kanan. Wow. Okay, so that's all 3 Kanans that we've drawn. All right. One of these days we will actually pick up something other than what we've drawn so far. But hey, we'll get there eventually. A little bit of an event. Would love the forces with me or a force throw or something like that at this point. Let's go ahead and kill this. Deal 2 damage. No, he's dead. And I'll get to go ahead and heal 2. That is insane. Got absolutely slapped. What's nice about this is it's attack should deal 2 damage to your base with the cost. So we'll go ahead and get that extra heal off. There's a sneak attack Zuckuss. Sure. I think I'll just go ahead and play a Ki-Adi-Mundi. And let's see what my opponent's got. They could use Zuckuss to go ahead and hit Ki-Adi, or go ahead and hit let's see. Hit the Kanan, I suppose, to kill him. But not exactly a super productive sneak attack. And we did get Bosk down, so really, really nice starts. And there's the third. Where are you? We've drawn all units. Every single card in our hand has been all units. This is crazy. All right. Let's go ahead and I think we'll just start by dropping in a Village Protectors. Get a little bit of Sentinel action going. This is going to trigger Coordinate for Ki-Adi, so we might be able to draw some cards. They're going to go put an enticing reward on Ki-Adi. Let's go ahead and attack in for 5. And then we're going to get to draw a second 2 cards here, assuming our opponent doesn't actually go ahead and use the Bosk action, but they do. So we get to draw 2 cards here, and then we get to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, Yoda. They can go ahead and deal 1 to Ki-Adi, do the little search function. For those of you who don't know, it's going to get top 10, 2 non-unit cards, but not really all that scared about that. We get to draw 2 cards off Ki-Adi, so we have a ton of gas. Our opponent's gotten 2 bounties. They have no board state whatsoever right now, and then we're going to be able to flip Anakin here and then chain into either a Luke Skywalker or a Obi-Wan or a Mace Windu. So let's go Anakin here. And I'm just going to deploy him. He's not going to be extremely scary or anything like that. But we're going to go and attack in for 4. 4 damage. Let's see what my opponent does. All right. We're going to go ahead and draw some cards. The force is with me and a force throw. Perfect. Now we're drawing some cards that I really wanted to see. Okay. Would have loved to see a covert strength or anything like that as well, but not quite there yet. We'll put a Sentinel token on this Village Protectors. So force throw, obviously extremely good. My opponent right now has got 3 cards in hand, so that is quite excellent. Here, let's go ahead and just attack in with Anakin for 4. Not sure what the plan is for my opponent. The top targets for 3 resources is kind of crazy. There's a death mark, huh? All right, let's go village protectors for 2. Force choke, huh? Again, not really sure what the plan is here, but they're doing something. Let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's play a Luke. Just use up all of our resources. Draw 2 cards. Jedi Lightsaber, Yoda, Batch Bros. I actually like Batch Bros, but I don't really care about Yoda. Our opponent's played like 0 units this game. Emperor Palpatine. Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay, 1 damage. 5 to Luke. Okay. So 5 damage to Luke. Let's go force throw my opponent. It's a 4-alarm. We'll deal 4 to Palp. They're going to take initiative. We're going to go... what do we want to do? We'll do a Jedi Lightsaber on Anakin. So we'll hit for 6. Or 7. Because it's going to kill the Emperor Palpatine. And then our opponent is saying GG. Yeah, that one was a pretty straightforward game. Our opponent just kind of deploying some bounties, which isn't terrible. Obviously, bounties in Bosk is good. But playing top target for 3 resources could be a really massive tempo disadvantage. And we had, well, just kind of a curve out, right? Our opponent just didn't really get to the board and do a whole lot. So... not a bad start. Let's move on to the next one. Rolling a 2 to start us off for this second game. And our opponent rolls a 1. Nice. All right. Getting the initiative in Anakin here is actually pretty relevant. So this is the all payoff 0 unit hand, which is very, very rare in this deck. This is a pretty decent mix. So we got the It Binds All Things, which I think I'm actually going to resource. And then we'll resource this Mace Windu. So we'll have a curve, right? Queel into Concordon Interceptors. Put us on the Bosk ECL, which I think is much better. Much, much better. They're going to go ahead and put a price on your head on Queel. We're going to go ahead and take initiative. They're going to deal damage to my Queel. And we're going to draw some cards. There's a Sabine, which doesn't look incredibly good here. Oh, I have to resource. I'm actually going to resource that Concordon Interceptors. Oh my gosh. These guys. Let's go to hit the base. Let's discard a card. It's a Batch Bros. Not going to grab it. It's a punishing one. Okay. Punishing one isn't too bad. Let's go Sabine Wren. My opponent's going to deal damage? Question mark. Oh. Whoops. Let's go to grab initiative. And let's draw some cards. Now there's a Forces with me, and a couple of 2 resource plays. Not that I'm exactly excited about this at all, to be honest. Pretty awkward draw, I'll say. We're going to resource one of the 2 resource plays because it just gets killed by punishing one. Let's discard a card. It's a Luke. I'll go ahead and draw it. They're going to attack for 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I will go ahead and just... do I want to... If I play the Queel... they will be able to claim the bounty anyways. So let's just go and attack for 3. My opponent's going to be able to deploy Bosk this turn, which is good. And we've had kind of an awkward hand. Any sort of 3 resource play would have been really excellent there. They're going to Daring Raid it. I wonder why they're going to Daring Raid it instead of just... what? Okay, they're going to use the action. So a little bit of a sequencing thing there. That's fine. Let's go Queel. Replay the Queel. So we went 2-drop, 2-drop, 2-drop. That's not something that you really want to see in this deck at all. See what my opponent's got. They could definitely have something good to follow up. So we'll see. Hu Yang to pump up the Bosk. And what are they going to do? Attack our base? Or attack Queel? Daring Raid here, huh? So they have 2 cards in hand? I'm a little bit surprised they're going Daring Raid here. All right, let's go ahead and draw some cards. We've got a Luke and another A-Wing. Not exactly particularly strong. We'll get there. We'll get there. Let's go Queel, attack, deal 2 damage, restore 1, discard a card. It's a force throw. Don't actually get to hit. Oh, no, no. Whoa, 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 whoa. What is this? Don't kill your boss. You want your boss on the battlefield. I promise you that. So I got Rey or Ki-Adi-Mundi to play. I'm actually leaning towards Rey. Wow, they're going to hit Sabine. Okay, in that case, I'm just going to drop in a Ki-Adi then. It's going to be tankier than Rey. It's going to be harder for my opponent to deal with. They got 6 resources. They could definitely ECL out like a Kylo or something. Hit in for 3. We're going to take initiative. Opponent's going to ECL something out. Is it a Kylo? Ooh, it's a Kit Fisto. Okay. So my opponent's going to get that killed, or they're going to kill that. And let's see what happens. Got a Bravado and an Obi-Wan Kenobi. Interesting. Resource one of those Lukes. Question is, do I ready up Anakin immediately? I think I just drop in the Obi-Wan here. We're really far behind on board because we had just 2 drop, 2 drop, 2 drop. We wasted 3 resources in total, which is really, really rough for us. They got Overwhelming Barrage here, huh? Sure. Well, we're going to go ahead and ready up Anakin. There's not much else that we can do. If they want to attack it with a Ki-Adi, that's fine. Opponent's had a pretty good hand so far, which totally works, but let's see what my opponent's got. I think you just, I mean, you can hit base for 9, and that's pretty good. Not sure what you do here, actually. Yep. Let's go ahead and hit Bosk, and if they don't take initiative, then we have a chance, but they should definitely take initiative here. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're going to take initiative. I don't know what we could draw here, but that is not good enough. GG! Pretty horrible start for us, to be honest. And my opponent had that price on your head into the Bosk, into the Kit Fisto ECL, which is really nice. Love that addition to that deck. They basically had everything that they could want here at the beginning or throughout that game. And we were really lagging behind, right? We really want like a Yoda, a Kanan, or anything to get down. If we had any of those, the game would have been completely different because we had the forces with you. I would have played that. We could have still played that, but it's not like it would have done much. Yeah, let's see if we can run it back and maybe perform a little bit better. All right, I don't mind this hand at all. I'm just going to resource both of the interceptors. I'm going to start off with an A-Wing. Just get that A-Wing down, start getting it for some damage. Turn 2, we got Yoda. Turn 3, we've got Kanan. And that's a pretty nice one. Bounty Hunter's Quarry coming down. Let's go ahead and take initiative. Bounty Hunter's Quarry is a very good card. Love that for them. There's a Sabine and another Kanan. Let's go ahead and ready up some stuff. And I think we will just go ahead and start attacking in with the A-Wing. They're going to deal damage. Sure, let's go ahead and drop in a Yoda. Let's see what my opponent's got. Super Laser Technician, huh? Okay. Draw some cards. Got ourselves a Force Throw, which is looking interesting. But unfortunately for us, we don't have a great way to spend our resources. Like, we would go Sabine plus Force Throw, but I'd rather just get down this Kanan, to be honest. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop in a Kanan. Let's go Anakin into the base for 4. Or into Bosk for 4. We're going to draw a card. It's going to be OB. So they can go ahead and kill off both of those guys. Excellent turn for my opponent yet again. What an insane curve. Turn 1, Bounty Hunter's Quarry. Turn 2, Super Laser Technician. It's basically exactly what you want. Into Bosk Flip, into Overwhelming Barrage. The only question now is, what are you going to grab from the Bounty Hunter's Quarry? Doesn't look like an insane addition or anything like that, but, you know, they also get a second one because of the double claiming for Bosk. So once again, a pretty perfect draw for my opponent, and we are left a little bit floundering here. We're going to go ahead and claim initiative, of course. The opponent's going to grab their cards, and they still have ECL available, which is a little bit scary, of course. Hit for 6. Let's draw some cards, and man, not exactly what I want to be seeing here at this stage of the game. We're going to go ahead and drop in 1, 2, 3 for Concord Dawn Interceptors. Get a little bit of Sentinel action down. And then we're going to go drop an A-Wing. 1, 2, 3. Let's go A-Wing. Let's see what my opponent's got here. Opponent's going to ECL something out. It's going to be a Ruthless Raider. Dang. What a crazy... I mean... Whoa. Just grab my... What a crazy situation for them. They've had everything, right? They had the ECL for exactly the space unit to deal with the Sentinel, and I mean, they're just crushing us right now. Completely domination. We're gonna go ahead and get in for 7, and then we're gonna draw some cards. I don't think we can recover from this pretty much at all at this stage of the game. It's gonna be pretty brutal for us to do so. It's going to have to be, let's see, 4, 7. I mean, we can do a lot of different things, but I think it's got to start with, see, we have Obi-Wan. They just have to have nothing, basically. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, drop in an Obi-Wan, and we're just going to have to hope my opponent's got what they need to get. Yeah, okay, GG, double Overwhelming Barrage as well. Just completely ran over yet again on that one. Opponent just had double OB, the rampant OB. Boss Green, excellent deck. Love this deck, by the way. Super good deck, and you can see why. All right, into our next game, and I haven't had enough, apparently, because we are coming back for some more. This hand is kind of interesting. We have a lot of like payoffs with the Jedi Lightsaber. The Force is with me. Force Throw. I'm not sure I like this hand that much. A-Wing doesn't look that great here. In general, it's a little bit more of an aggressive card. This hand looks significantly better. Got a good mix of I might put it just mulligan 3 times. I don't know. I didn't see that. I think they only mulligan once. But we got the Sabine Wren into Yoda, which I think is a nice one. If they pass here, we're just going to take initiative, and I think that's going to be advantage us. Let's draw some cards. That's going to be a Jedi Lightsaber and an Obi-Wan. Don't mind that at all. I think I'm going to resource this Sabine. And we're going to go with a Yoda. And let's see what my opponent's got. They obviously had a bounty turn 1. So if we could stall out just a little bit, it's going to be really good for us. And I think what we're going to do here is just grab that initiative. Draw some cards. And that's a Queel and an Anakin's Interceptor. I think we just go for the... Force is with me here to put a token on the Yoda to avoid any damage, and one shot to the Phase Dark Trooper, which is going to be really nice. They go price on your head. We're going to take initiative. They can go Death Mark, sure, pump it up with a bunch of different stuff, and they can go ahead and deal 1 to my Yoda. Draw some cards. We got double Force Throw. I really like that. But I think... a little bit worried about an ECL potential here. So we can go... I think I just go all in. I don't really see my opponent having much to be able to get through these upgrades on Yoda. Let's go Force Throw my opponent. Deal 1. Let's go Force Throw my opponent. If they have another 1-drop, then it's pretty bad for us, but I mean, at this stage of the game, it is really good if we hit anything. So we're going to go ahead and kill the Phase 3 Dark Trooper. And I mean, my Yoda is just omega large, right? Go and take 2 damage on the Bosk or on the Yoda, and we're gonna go and draw some cards. Jedi lightsaber giving -2/-2, so it doesn't actually deal more than the 2 damage. We got another Anakin's Interceptor here. Not exactly what I wanted to see, but that's okay. And I mean, this game is a completely different feel, right? Opponent didn't start with an amazing bounty, and it is doing real well for us. So they're going to go ahead and trade off. Okay. So they're going to grab these 2. And we're going to go ahead and draw a card. They've got to tap their resources. So they're going to tap those resources. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. I'll go ahead and do it for them. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Whoops. Whoa, 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 whoa. Got to tap it the same way, guys. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Attack in for 4. And then let's draw some cards. So now, I mean, there's a complete difference in this game versus the first game. When the boss doesn't start with like a turn 1 bounty, which is potentially a reason to not play anything on turn 1, but it can be a little bit risky, right? Then, or if they don't go like overwhelming barrage at the boss turn, they don't get an early boss down, it can be completely different. I'm not saying that we're going to win completely, but it is a complete different feel. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mace Windu. Ready up Mace Windu. Daring Raid. They can finish him off. Sure. Attack for 4. Attack for 4. Draw some cards. Nothing in the resource pile really that we can use. We got a Queel, a Sabine. I don't mind these cards. Honestly, we can go 3-drop, 2-drop, 2-drop. So we can really deploy to the board here. They got a Crate Dragon, huh? Okay. Let's just go Obi-Wan into the Crate Dragon. We're going to go 2 experiences on Anakin. Draw a card. We're going to go ahead and just hit the Crate Dragon. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Batch Brothers. We're going to go 1, 2, Queel, 1, 2, A-Wing. And let's draw some cards. Batch Brothers, or not Batch Brothers, Crate Dragon is one of the few ways that we can completely lose the game. If I start playing a bunch of things and just attacking their base and ignoring them, if they have like an overwhelming barrage next turn, we lost the game. And that's something that we just cannot afford. So we just need to deal with it, right? They have a Crate Dragon. Crate Dragon's a good card for sure. But if they just played a Crate Dragon here, we are massively ahead, right? Because we attack them with all of our various units. It's going to be a total of 6, 8, 9 damage, which is going to be huge. They get Timely Intervention, and they're going to go Timely Intervention for 2. Ruthless Raider. Sure. They're going to go ahead and kill Clone Trooper token. Sure. Then you go hit my A-Wing. So they still got 1 damage on the A-Wing. We're going to go ahead and attack. We're going to go ahead and attack into their base for 2. So Batch Brothers, go ahead and discard that one. They're going to go Bounty Hunter's Quarry. Let's attack in for 2. Pretty nice recovery, to be honest. A really nice set of draws for my opponent. Crate Dragon into Timely, into Ruthless Raider, into Bounty Hunter's Quarry. Grab it. This is pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. Well, it gets a Phase 3 Dark Trooper. Completely expected something of that nature. Here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Kanan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rey. And let's draw some cards. No Lukes yet. No Lukes, right? Except for like the very early of the game. We do have a Covert Strength, which is going to be pretty nice. And we do have that Rey, Kanan. I ended up going 2 units here because if we didn't, then our opponent could just kill that Queel, and then we have to use, or our opponent hits the Obi-Wan, and then we're kind of in not a great spot if our opponent just has anything really. They're probably going to kill Queel unless they have something else to play. See what my opponent's got. Overwhelming Barrage, huh? What are they going to hit? 5 damage. How are you going to split it? They're fixing the resources. Cool. We're going to go hit for 2. Whoops. So we're going to go 1, 2, and then we're going to go just get 5 damage on the ray. They can go hit for 4. Let's go attack in for 2. Discard a card. It's a Concord Dawn Interceptors. They take 2 damage. Are they taking initiative? Okay, so they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Or we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Obi-Wan. And let's draw some cards. Sabine Wren, Concord Dawn Interceptors, Village Protectors. Don't need to resource anything, really. And I mean, we got a really nice situation, right? Emperor Palpatine, sure. They're definitely... Sure. And they're going to deal, like, 1... Yep, 2, 5, 1. Sure. And then we're going to go ahead and hit their base. It's a Force Choke. Restore 2. Oh, they're saying GG. Okay. So, yep, pretty different feel there. Our opponent didn't have that really early Bosk flip into early bounty double claim, things like that. Boss Screen is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I love Boss Scream. But it can have very, very different feels. It could be like one of the most oppressive decks you could ever feel. And then another game, it could be like, oh, well, you didn't really do a whole lot. It really depends on kind of getting the right bounties in the right situation in the right order. Still really solid and pretty, close game in general. So, well played for my opponent. All right, we're going into the next game. We both rolled a 12 here. Let's see. I'm going to go and roll a 10. And my opponent rolled a 5. Okay, sweet. So, going to go ahead and grab that initiative, and we're just going to fight against this Django Red. So, I like this hand quite a bit. I'm going to resource this Bravado, and I'm going to resource this Sabine. I like this hand. We got a 2 resource play into multitude of 3 resource plays, and I do like Village Protectors in this matchup. They could definitely do some crazy things where they go like turn 1, kill my Queel due to some sort of damage, like Greedo plus Holdout Blaster. And that can be kind of obnoxious so that we can kind of recover back on board with that Village Protectors. Or we could just go Yoda, which I would love to do Yoda as well, because we would set up for any sort of force throw or the force is with me type shenanigans. But it's going to go Bazine, and well, they can take my Obi-Wan. Honestly, I think in this spot you don't take anything, but I guess we'll see. Take Yoda. Okay. So I actually don't know if I would have taken anything because right now we're kind of limited on plays, and well, we drew a bunch of 7 drops. But hey, that totally happens. We got ourselves the Village Protectors, which is nice. I think I will go ahead and hit their Bazine. We really don't want to be in a spot where there we go. Where we don't have too much going on. We don't want to be in a spot where our opponent's got a bunch of stuff and they can kind of just walk right through us. So we're going to go Village Protectors, get a shield on our Village Protectors. Let's see if they use Tarkentown to kill off the Queel or not. Lurking Tie, we have a lot of answers to that. Another Village Protectors. That's the full 3 of Village Protectors. I like Village Protectors a lot, so I don't mind it. We're going to go ahead and get in for 4. Sure, let's go Queel. Discard a card. It's an Obi-Wan. Drawn a lot off Queel this game. We have the Anakin action plus Village Protectors, which is one of the really nice kind of, not combos necessarily, but really nice situation to be in. They got Tarkentown on the Queel. I think if you're going to do that, you probably do it last turn, just so that I can't get another attack into it. But, maybe they really wanted to keep up that action. I don't know. So they got Triple Dark Raid here. So definitely more of a space-oriented deck. They're going to Fitz Fire Spray. Going to get in for 5. We're going to get in for 2 here. And we're going to see what my opponent does. Remember, Anakin is significantly more powerful than Boba Fett. So, getting some damage down on our base isn't really that big of a deal in this spot. So we're going to go 2 damage into the base. And then they're going to take initiative. Okay. Then we're going to take initiative. So they're going to deal 5. And then we're going to take initiative. I was like, wait, what? So this goes back to their hand. And then let's go to resource that Queel. And let's see what we want to do here. So we can go Batch Brothers plus Force Throw in this turn. I like that. I can also play another Village Protectors. I think I'm just going to start off by attacking with Kanan. And let's see what we flip. Death Star Stormtrooper, so we get to heal 2. Village Protector is going to make us really safe. Force Throw is going to come down and kind of just hit whatever they play realistically. Probably, I'm leaning towards Village Protectors, but there's also, something to be said about... Oh, wow, they're going to... Okay, they're going to go ahead and swoop down here, and we're going to replay a Village Protectors. That ended up being really good for us. I think my opponent was trying to get down something so they can ambush the Kanan and get their Jango Fett going, because otherwise you don't really do that with swoop down. Really, really good for us, to be honest. Just really, really solid. Let's go Force Throw us. Kill the Jango. Get Jango back over there. Just one shot this Jango. Not going to really mess around with it. Not going to try to make my opponent get discarded or anything like that. Just get rid of it off the board. They got another Triple Dark Raid. If you're going double Triple Dark Raid while also trying to go swoop down on your opponent's Sentinels, it's kind of tricky because you're using a bunch of random damage and stuff in that maybe not matter as much. So our opponents can use up all their resources for this. And they can go and choose to deal 2 damage to something. Probably deal it to the Village Protectors to get rid of that shield. What are you doing 2 damage to? What are you going to deal 2 damage to? Has to go ahead and pick the damage. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and grab initiative. I forgot. Totally get that. Happens to me all the time, honestly, especially in paper. Let's go ahead and draw some cards. I think I resourced just one of these Obi-Wans. And we got a Sentinel on the ground, and we're taking a decent amount of damage, but again, Anakin kind of makes up for that. So unless our opponent has a P-38 or something to exhaust immediately, we're just going to try to get in immediately. And let's heal for 2, and then get 4 damage to their base. The reason I'm getting in immediately is because they have the Jango. They can only choose to exhaust one thing, and if they're trying to prepare for Anakin, then, we might be able to still get an attack with Kanan, but I don't want to risk it. They're just going to play out the Ruthless Raider, okay? Kill this, hit us for 2. We're going to go ahead and flip over Anakin. Let's see if they decide to attack. It's going to give us an extra power, so we can hit them for 7. Okay, so they're going to hit us for 4. We're going to hit you for 7. And then my opponent's going to take initiative. So we're going to go... I think I want to go Batch Brothers plus Sabine. Or do I want to go Obi-Wan? Actually, let's just go ahead and... No. Yeah, let's go with the kind of Sentinel play. I like the Sentinel. Ooh, Covert Strength. Actually, I think I'm going to keep Covert Strength into my hand just because the 1 resource is valuable. I was debating whether I want to go Batch Brothers or I wanted to go a Batch Brothers plus Sabine or Obi-Wan. But I think going Obi-Wan is actually useful because our opponent could have a... they could have a lot of different things. Our opponent's going to hit us for 7. And then we're going to kill them with the Anakin. So pretty close game, to be honest. But that Force Throw on Jango, really, really crucial. Force Throwing ourselves to go ahead and kill off their leader immediately is really nice. And again, as I said with the Triple Dark Raids, is if you're doing this thing where not that they played that you shouldn't do it, but if they have to go swoop down to get rid of the Sentinel and they're playing Triple Dark Raid, they're kind of mixing strategies in that they're trying to get a little bit of board presence so they can get in more damage. And if that doesn't work out, hence a Force Throw into your Jango for 7, then it ends up being really, really poor. Not that they had a better chance than any other way. It's just, that's kind of what happens. Let's move on to the next game. So we'll move on to the next game. We're going to go resource this Covert Strength and Sabine Wren. I think we're just going to drop in a Sabine Wren. Oh, they're going to go ahead and Bazine, which is fine. We have two resource plays. They're going to grab what? I think you just grab the Sabine, but maybe they're going to grab like the 3 resource play to mess up my curve. I don't know. What do you grab? An opponent? They're going to grab the Sabine. Sure. Draw a card, and we're going to go A-Wing. Okay, let's draw some cards. Concord on Interceptors looks pretty good. Jedi Lightsaber could be good. I'm going to keep that over the second Batch Brothers. I do like Batch Brothers, but let's see what my opponent's got. TIE Silencer. Okay. I think what I'll do is just hit their base for 3. Opponent's got a Death Star Stormtrooper. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Play a Batch Brothers. Okay, let's go ahead and draw some cards. They're going to go ahead and pass here. Let's resource that Interceptor. Kanan was a pretty good draw. See what my opponent decides to do. They're definitely going a little bit more aggressive here, which I think is pretty good for them. I think they should be going a little bit more aggressive. I'll tell you, 7 toughness is a lot different than 6 toughness. Okay, let's go Anakin into their Bazine. It's one of the reasons why I like Batch Brothers is it makes each one of those threats way more important. Let's kill their Death Star Stormtrooper. Star Wing Scout, huh? Let's go Kanan. Star Wing Scout's a little bit interesting. Okay, let's draw some cards. We got ourselves a Yoda and a Concordon Interceptor. So I don't know if I want the Yoda at this stage of the game. I definitely will be playing that Concordon Interceptors, I think, this turn. I guess we'll go ahead and see. Opponent's got a lot of stuff going on. They definitely went a little bit more space than I was expecting. They're going to go Force Choke here. Okay, we're going to go Concordon Interceptors. They can go ahead and trade. That's fine. They have a swoop down here, huh? Okay. So they're going to go ahead and just trade off. That's fine with me, to be honest. Put it. We're going to grab initiative here. Get in for 4. My opponent's going to hit the Queel. Okay. Sure. Let's draw some cards. Forces with me seems pretty good here. I think I'm going to resource this Kanan. We got 6 resources. I think I'm going to deploy Anakin first just to see what my opponent decides to do. Because right now our Anakin does trade with Jango, so they're going to have something pretty good. And maybe they tap down Anakin expecting that they can go ahead and finish him off, or maybe hit in the base, and then we'll deploy the Sentinel in Obi-Wan, which will be pretty nice. If he doesn't, we have Jedi Lightsaber, Forces with me. We even have the Covert Strength. Okay. So they're going to go ahead and hit for 3. And then I think, what do we do? I think we just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Obi-Wan. They're going to hit in for 4. We're going to take initiative, and let's see what my opponent's got. Opponent still has Tarkin Town, so they can deal with Obi-Wan. Not necessarily too difficult for them. Okay. Deal some damage to our Anakin. Draw some cards. Got ourselves a Sabine. Not too bad, but we are taking a decent amount of damage here for sure. And I think we just kill off that Star Wing Scout here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Luke. Kill. And my opponent has to have a second Ruthless Raider. They're going to waylay what? The Obi-Wan? Okay, sure. Let's go ahead and smack in for 7. They're going to hit us for 4. We're going to grab initiative. It's got a TIE Phantom. Let's draw some cards. Double Force is with me. Ooh, that's interesting. Let's resource this Mace Windu. So, So I can attack him with Luke, or I can attack him with Anakin. I think I attack him with Luke first. I think I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Force is with me. Attack into the base. Give 2 experiences and a shield token and restore 3. Should have taken 1 more damage, so 18. And now, I mean, Anakin finishes them off if they don't have anything. I went with Luke first just to get that restore. And if they deal with Anakin, because if I go with Anakin and I have a way to like tap down the Luke, then I'm not going to get the restore. And there could be a multitude of different things that can actually finish me off, like a couple surprise strikes or things like that. That can be a little bit scary, right? Because they have 8 damage on board. If we were at 19 HP, they just need 1 surprise strike, which is just brutal. And I mean, at this point, that's game over. So GG. We have 15 damage on base, so that's going to be a 7 power Luke or Anakin, and that's going to be a W. So no real tap downs. Wasn't really seeing the P38, which is the card I actually most fear against the Django decks. Not sure if they have them in the deck. I would be surprised if they didn't, because to me, again, that is like the best card in Django Red. I've just been really impressed with that card, and if you're definitely playing the space strategy, that's something that's pretty important as well. So let's move on to the next one. Looks like we're running it back once again against the Django. And, well, we kind of got a weak hand here. A bunch of 2 resource plays, bravado. Not exactly what we're really looking for. Let's go ahead and mulligan. And, okay, double force throw could be relevant. I'm going to resource this Obi-Wan, and I think I'm going to resource the Queel. I would like to keep both force throws. It's just more relevant than what my opponent's got for the most part. Let's go Queel here. And my opponent passed. So they're going to go ISB agent, deal a damage, which is fine. We're going to take initiative here. Let's see if my opponent goes ahead and they're going to daring raid it as well. Okay. That's actually totally fine with me. I hope I draw some solid play. That is a solid play. Yoda is excellent here. That is like probably the card I could have asked for the most. So my opponent's got 3 cards in hand here because they ended up playing 2 at the beginning. So let's go Yoda. Yoda is excellent. My opponent could go to Torkid Town. And I think there's a very, very reasonable reason to go ahead and Torkid Town my Yoda away. But we'll see what my opponent decides to do. Hold on, this doesn't die. This takes 2 damage. They're going to go Tarkin Town, so I'm going to draw a card. And now we're going to draw 2. And, well, we got a Queel and an Anakin's Interceptor. So this is kind of the idea behind Django, is very tempo-oriented, trying to really just get the early game under your control and then use that to prevent your opponent from really recovering in the game. And, well, that's exactly what they've done so far. Not that I'm actually really scared about what's going on so far. They got a tie advanced. Okay. Very interesting kind of situation that I'm finding myself against right now. Again, I would not have expected the tie advanced either. But Queel coming down. And my opponent, let's see what they decide to do. They're going to hit the Anakin's Interceptor. I'm a little bit surprised about that one as well. I probably would not have done that. I probably would have just gone for the base because my Interceptor doesn't really do anything. But, hey. Whatever my opponent does. Hit the base, sure. Draw some cards. Covert Strength. Not great, to be honest. Not great at all. I'm really looking for like a Kanan or something like that. Let's go ahead and kill. We're going to deal 1 damage, heal 1, discard a card. It's a Sabine. Not exactly what I'm looking for. They're going to go ahead and hit in for 6. Let's go 1, 2, 3, Batch Bros. And let's go 1, 2, 3. Let's go grab initiative. This is definitely not where we want to be at all. They've got another space unit and another space unit. So just all the space units, very space oriented here. And we're going to go ahead and take the 3. So let's go ahead and draw some cards. I think that we've pretty much lost this game at this point. Not exactly anything that we can do to recover. We are just so far behind. GG. just completely ran over in space. Nothing that we could really do. Very nice curve for my opponent. Had kind of exactly what they wanted in terms of early game pressure, as I mentioned, early game tempo to dominate the early game, and then kind of transition to space. And that is where things like sideboard cards like Takedown and things like that are really going to come in handy, especially when we're trying to get value on the ground and we don't have the initiative. That can be really scary, right? So pretty good. On to the next one. All right, so what did we learn today with Anakin Blue? Well, it was pretty sweet. We did get some really awesome games in there against things like Django and the Boss Green. We really got absolutely destroyed in those earlier games with Boss Green, and that is something that you do have to be very careful about. I think that was part me just playing the deck as if I would kind of play it against a normal deck. Where Boss Green is a little bit different, especially if you are playing against the deck that has a lot of bounties and like the Dengar synergies. That could have just been my fault. But there's a big difference in terms of how you go about and what cards you're bringing. Things like Village Protectors are extremely good to stall out just a little bit longer so we actually can get some of the Force synergies in place. And once we did, that's when the deck took off. Of course, things like Force Throw and the Force is with me and Jedi Lightsaber don't do a whole lot if you don't have the Force units and you really need the two pieces. So it does take a little bit more effort. We saw Queel do a lot of work. We saw Village Protectors do a lot of work. One of the cards that we didn't really get to see at all is It Binds All Things. I don't even remember drawing it at any point, or maybe I did and I resourced it. But there's a lot of situations there where, you know, our opponent had like Tarkin Town or some damage on Yoda. That would have been a sweet place to go out and like It Binds All Things the Yoda, even for one to remove the damage from him so we can set up some of the Force synergies, or even like healing up a couple points of damage. Again, it's any Force unit that you control with It Binds All Things. So if we just heal up any unit with a Kanan or Anakin on the battlefield, we get to deal like 3 damage or something, which is pretty sweet. So we didn't actually get to see that in place. One of the best cards is Kiadi in this deck, just because he comes down and he's so like such a big body, right? 7 toughness is really tough to get through. It's one of the reasons we have another Rey, because she's very likely to survive as well on 5, which is really nice. But overall, pretty nice showing, right? We did see some games where Jedi Lightsaber came down and did some massive work. We saw some games where Force Throw just like discarded your opponent's hand and got some extra damage, which you're all used to. But then most importantly, we saw Anakin come down and just be the 7/7, like absolutely massive body that just ends the game, right? Really, really solid in that way. And that's one of the reasons why I've been just enjoying Anakin in general, is he's such a reliable, very, very strong leader that if you're able to put any sort of protection or any sort of thing that guarantees him to come down and live, then you're really, really in a good spot because you're going to get in for a ton of damage. I thought about running like Pow City for the extra toughness on Anakin, because I figured, okay, if there was any deck that really would want this extra toughness, I could see Anakin actually wanting it because of that 8 toughness, and Anakin is your win condition in a lot of the stages of the game when you reach Anakin's flip turn. So I thought about it. I tried it early on in testing, wasn't a huge fan, and I think that we saw in some situations in these games where a lot of space units came out, we didn't have the Concord on interceptors, we didn't have Anakin's interceptor or whatever it is, and without that extra 4 HP, it would have been a lot trickier to kind of close out the game. So let me know what you think about this deck in the comment section down below. Definitely an interesting spin on it in terms of, you know, what you're used to with Force decks, because what you're seeing with like Rey Red, for example, which is probably the most quintessential Force deck that we saw in the format most frequently, or even like Chirrut Red back in set 1, it's much less of a control deck and more of like a mid-range aggro style with the Force synergies there, because you're not playing takedowns, you're not playing Fell the Dragons or things like that. You could absolutely change up the deck a little bit, and instead of playing like the full 3 of Luke's, the Mace Windu, maybe even the Bravado, go down a little bit on Jedi Lightsabers and the Force with me is with me, and you can play things like, well, takedowns, Fell the Dragons, and things like that that are standard good. But that's not the way we went today. Definitely a sideboard option, and definitely something I would consider in the future. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Let me know if you've been enjoying Anakin. Guys, Anakin has been my favorite leader of set 3. Really just period. I've just been having so much fun. I guess I should say period, because I've also really enjoyed Asajj, but just so much fun with Anakin, just coming down and absolutely slapping. I've enjoyed all the various archetypes. I've liked green the least, but I also think double red Anakin, Anakin yellow, and Anakin blue have been really, really fun. So definitely give it a shot if you enjoy Anakin as much as I do. And thanks for watching. I'll see you all for the next one.